They hear it again, just like yesterday and the day before. The new neighbor on the third floor above them stomps around, blasts strange music, then turns on the washing machine in the afternoon like clockwork. Julie and Kevin just stare at the ceiling, shaking their heads. To keep their sanity in the chaos, they entertain themselves by making up stories about their noisy neighbors. Maybe as soon as her husband leaves in the morning, she has a boyfriend come by, then cleans the sheets before he comes home, jokes Julie. Kevin seems to think they must be YouTubers up there who film and narrate creepy videos every day. Julie laughs and adds, "What if they're serial killers who bring unsuspecting victims back at night and chop them up during the day?" The upstairs noise and their stories go on like this for weeks. One night, the banging from above is loud enough to wake them up. "The killers must be at it again," mumbles Kevin as he rubs his eyes. They hear what sounds like an argument, then the upstairs door screeches as it grinds across its metal threshold. The frustrated couple agree that it's time to let their neighbors know about the constant disturbances. The next morning, Julie and Kevin make their way up to the top floor. They locate the apartment above them from the odd music and knock on the door. Just then, the pulsating music stops. A woman opens the door just a crack. Her wild eyes peer out of the black behind the chain lock. They introduce themselves and let the neighbor know about the noises they've been hearing all hours of the day and night. The neighbor tries to be overly friendly. She says her name is Margaret and that she wishes they could meet her husband, but he's away on a trip. Margaret apologizes for the excessive noise and claims that she didn't realize the walls were so thin in the apartment complex. They accept her apology, but still can't shake the feeling that something is off about this woman. Throughout the day, the music and footsteps above are slightly quieter than before. Kevin mentions to his wife that they may finally get some peace, but later that night, the loud music begins booming again. Julie looks up and notices a rust-color stain that has started to form on the ceiling above their bed. The couple is beyond frustrated and argues about calling the apartment manager. Julie would rather confront the neighbor again and insists that if Kevin won't go with her, then she'll go alone. After some convincing, they storm back up the stairwell to the third floor. When they arrive, they see the door to the neighbor's apartment stuck on the threshold and left slightly open. Julie taps on the door, but is hardly heard with the pounding music playing from the stereo. Without hesitation, she enters the dimly lit apartment, determined to catch her neighbors in the act. Kevin tries to pull her back when they become distracted by scribblings of symbols drawn all over the walls. They see a crack of light coming from the back bedroom and creep through the hallway. As they swing open the bedroom door, they see Margaret in a red mask holding a carving knife in each hand. She's standing over the motionless body of a man tied to the bed, wearing a similar mask in black. His legs have been severed off, with blood dripping from the sheets into a pool on the floor. The crazed woman shrieks as she lunges at Kevin, piercing his stomach with both knives. Julie cries out in horror as blood drains from Kevin's wounds and he falls to the floor. Margaret slams Julie against the wall as she makes her escape from the room and out of the apartment. Gasping for air, Kevin writhes violently in pain. Julie frantically presses her hands firmly against his seeping cuts and sobs uncontrollably as she watches him take his last breath. Only the pulsating music is heard until the victim on the bed begins to cough. Julie hurries to the man's bedside and pulls back his mask. In his raspy voice, he tells her that Margaret is his wife and was leaving her when he found out that she was having an affair. He had caught them performing horrific rituals and gruesome sacrifices in their apartment. She tries to calm the man and says she's going to get help. Julie rushes back to her apartment, trembling in terror. She stammers and can barely get out the words to report the murders when calling 911. The dispatcher asks Julie to stay on the line as the phone slips from her bloody hand. In her despondent state of shock, Julie drifts into the bathroom and begins washing Kevin's blood off of her hands. The distraught woman stares at her face in the mirror and hears police sirens approaching in the distance. From the corner of her eye, Julie glimpses a shadow behind her in the shower. She grabs a straight razor from the counter and slowly creeps across the tile floor toward the bathtub. Julie tears open the shower curtain and sees the red mask dangling from the shower head, smiling back at her through the darkness.